Happy Monday. And as you can tell, I am not Jen. She is out for a couple days just relaxing and doing what she needs to do. We love that. So today I have Terry Bailey with me, and
Hello.
He is local, right?
Right.
And he writes songs.
Well, I've wrote a couple. I'm
Yeah.
on my way. Yeah.
And we'll be right back, and we'll talk more about what else he does and all the fun things. So we'll be right back.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Welcome back. So,
That was fast.
Yeah.
Was that actually a 30-second spot?
yep.
Really? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Hello, world. I'm Terry Bailey. How are you?
So, we know you write songs, but how did all of this start?
My niece got married a couple weeks ago, and I was on the phone with her, and she was like, Terry, we need to do an Uncle Terry dance for her wedding. And I've been a wedding DJ for 45 years, and so when we hung up the phone, it just hit me to write a song about her life, and that's what I did. This song is about her life. It's I wrote every word of the song. It's called My Little Girl.
Yeah.
I got this running message board on the back of my windshield in my truck, and I just got it constantly running. You know, please check out my new song, and it's really working. I mean, I've had this lady pulled up beside of me at McDonald's in a Land Rover and rolled down the window and said, "Hey, I love your song," and I was like, "Yes, it's working. Yes." It's a really cool song, and it took me 3 days to write the song. Everything was perfect. You know, my doctor said I have ACDC, so everything has to be perfect. and so after I put it all together, I listened to it, and I was like, wow, that could be a hit. You know,
Yeah.
and being a wedding DJ my whole life, it's the father-bride dance song, father-daughter dance song,
Yeah.
and I thought, wow, this could be a hit. This could be really big. And so I just kept listening to it. And every time I listened to it, I'm like, Terry, this is it. This is it. This song has potential to make it. And after it was finished and done, it not only has potential to make it, but this song is going to be the #1 song in the country. I'm telling you, when this song hits the radio and when it gets to the country Billboard charts, it's going to fly up the charts and it's going to make it to #1.
It's
and
really
I got
good.
another one right behind it.
Yeah?
I got another one coming, and this one's called "Just Say I Do." And I'm just going to start writing wedding songs.
Yeah.
Seem to have a nick for it.
So when's that one coming?
I got the chorus laid out.
Yeah.
I got the first verse laid out. It's about this little kid that meets this girl in the 5th grade, and she's his best friend all through school. And when they started into high school, it went from being friends to they start saying "I love you."
Yeah.
And then on graduation day, he asked her to change it up, and instead of saying "I love you," just say "I do."
Oh, that's sweet.
And so that's kind of the story behind that song. But I haven't got it finished yet, but it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good.
I listened to the first one.
My Little Girl.
My Little Girl, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really good. Like,
Yeah.
me and Adrian sat here and listened to it. And we were like,
It's literally
wow, this is
about
so
my
good.
niece's life. She played basketball in high school, and this girl, she not only played basketball in high school, but this girl was like, she bounced this basketball like in her dreams. Like she was constantly, working out and really trying to do well with it. And so when it said bounce the basketball till her hands turned blue, she really did.
Yeah.
And and she got married, and so the song just starts about the day she was born until she got married, and it's amazing. It's amazing what God can do, because I got to tell you, I've wrote songs before in my life and they turned out stupid, and this one didn't, and so I definitely had help with this one. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like me and Adrian were talking about it, and we're like, oh my goodness, like this sounds like it'd be on every country radio station.
I'm
right?
hoping that's why I need your help.
Yeah.
That's why I need your help, America. Come on. Don't say no is not an option. Okay? No is not an option. It's really not. I mean, you got to be positive in things that you want to do in life, and you don't give up on anything you want to do in life. If you got a dream, you got to go for it, and don't take no for an answer.
Yeah.
Because everybody that tells you no, there's two people that's going to tell you yes. So push the no's out of the way, just run over them like a bulldozer, just push them out of your way and keep the yes positive energy in your life, and you'll make it. You can do it.
Yeah.
So
we were talking a little bit before we aired, and you were saying that you were a wedding DJ for a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did you get your start in all that?
Oh, it's funny. It's a crazy story. Okay, so when I was in the 8th grade, I went to my first high school basketball game with my brother. And we walked into the gym, and I looked to my right, and I saw this girl crying. And this girl was a senior in high school. Actually, she was a sophomore in high school. And I walked up to her, and I said, "Hey, why are you crying?" And she looked at me like really weird, and she's like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm Terry Bailey. I'm Timmy's brother." I said, "I'll be here next year. I'm in the 8th grade now, but I'll be here next year." And she's like, "Well, I'm crying because I'm running for band queen, and I'm supposed to have a dance after this ball game. And my DJ just called and canceled. And now I don't get to have a dance after this game, and this game starts in 20 minutes. So I need a DJ." And I looked at her, and I said, "I'll do it." And she looked at me, she's like, "What?" I was like, "I'll do it." And I was like, "You don't have much of an option, right?" And she's like, "No, I don't." I said, "I'll do it." So I ran to the payphone, I called my dad, rotary phone, I called my dad, and I was like, "Dad, come get me, I need to talk to you." So he came back down to the gym and got me, and as we was driving home, he was like, "Now, boy," he said, "let me talk your mom into doing this, just leave me alone with her. Let me talk her into letting you do this." So while my dad was talking to my mom into letting me do it, I was running around the neighborhood getting everybody's 45 records. You remember those round things that you turn and hold your 45 records? I was running around the neighborhood getting everybody's 45 records up, and I came back to the house, and I had like 5 of these things in my hands, And Dad said, "Okay, you can do it." So I had a Zenith Allegro stereo system, like 4 big speakers, and like I had a little cassette player, turntable, and a little selector switch going from AM to FM. And I went down there and I DJ'd this. I set this up, and I had a fan on it because it was it was as loud as it was going to go. And I did this dance. And I've got people on the floor. There was people dancing. There was people actually doing. And I was like, wow. And I'll never forget this because this one lady came up to me, and she said, "Does it get any louder?" And it really made my dad mad because I had a fan on this thing. It wasn't getting any louder. And so the next morning, my dad woke me up, and he said, "Come on, boy." He said, "Let's go to Beckley." And my dad took me to Beckley and bought me a $5,000 stereo system.
Wow.
And my phone never quit ringing after that. It really didn't. I was the DJ of choice all through high school, starting my freshman year. And I got to tell you, it's pretty cool to be sitting. When you're a freshman in high school, you're scared anyway of all the seniors and you're all that stuff. And to me, I was like Elvis because at the end of the day, it was like, "There will be a dance tonight, DJ Terry Bailey," and everybody and all my classmates are like, "Yes," yes. So it's that's the way it was for me all through school. And so when I got out of high school, I'll never forget it. This guy came up to me and he said, "You ever worked in a nightclub?" And I said, "Nope." He said, "You want to?" I said, "Yep." And so he hired me at this bar called the Good Times Lounge. And it was a really bad place to work. It was Fight City every weekend, had to go out the back door, if something broke out, and the beer bottles and everything flinging through the air. And, it was a wild experience, And I worked there for a while, and then I went to another nightclub. Then I went to another nightclub, and just all over the state. There's probably not a club in the state of West Virginia that I haven't worked in a town. And I got really cool stories about every one of them, But yeah, so now currently work at the Greenbrier. It's funny how I got this job at the Greenbrier. I was living in a warehouse up in Buchanan,
Yeah.
selling coal mining equipment, and I went over. I stopped DJing. I wanted to break from it,
Yeah.
and I was at the Moose Lodge, eating dinner, and this DJ was playing, and I made a comment to the bartender. I said, "Y'all need a DJ." And she's like, "Yeah," and I was like, "I'll do it." And everybody at the bar started laughing because nobody knew me, and nobody knew that I had been a DJ. I never told anybody, and I didn't have any equipment anymore. I sold all my stuff. So when everybody started laughing at the bar, it sparked it. Oh, no, I got to show these people who I am, and so I started ordering equipment, and I living in a warehouse. I mean, I'm talking like this warehouse was as big as this building, and so when I got all this equipment in, I started putting all this stuff together, and after I got it all put together, I was like, wow, I went overboard. I had the 20-foot trussing up. I had all the light movers. I had that, $20,000 in lights, $25,000 in sound. And it filled up this warehouse, and I was thinking, now what bar is going to hire me to do this? I mean, I went way overboard. And so I set it all up in this warehouse, and I shot a video, and the Greenbrier got a hold of me. They asked me, they said, "Have you ever been to the Greenbrier?" And I said, "No." And they said, "We like your video, and we want to talk to you." And so I went down there and talked to them, and they were just getting ready to put a DJ in their casino that they just opened up. And they took me into this casino, and it was a room big enough for my show. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is where my show needs to be. And so brought all the equipment into the Greenbrier, and they won't let me leave. Been there. I was there 12 years. COVID hit. When the governor says no dancing, that means no DJ.
Yeah.
So I moved my DJ service to Orlando, was doing really well down there, and was doing a lot of gigs on Disney, cruise ships, doing the Bahamas thing. And then the Greenbrier called me back, and they wanted me to come home. And so I take care of my mom. She lives in Colton, and she's 80, and so I drive up here and take care of my mom during the week, and then I work at the Greenbrier on the weekends. And I'm a wedding DJ, so I fit all that in.
Yeah. So what's one of your favorite stories from doing like a wedding, like DJing a wedding? Do you have any that stick out to you?
When you're DJing a wedding, it's different than any gig you can do because if you mess it up, that's her day.
Yeah.
That's her special day, and so that puts so much pressure on me for sure. I had this lady come up to me one time, and she stood on my foot. And she said, "Are you DJing my daughter's wedding?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she said, "If you mess it up, I'll hunt you down like a pack of dogs."
God.
See, so that's what kind of pressure that I'm talking about doing weddings. And so I try to make sure that I keep it professional and do the best job I can do. As far as having any stories about weddings, they're all on my end of it. It's very stressful. It's like, whew, I'm glad that's over.
Have you seen any crazy things happen at weddings?
Not really.
No. I've heard some stories because I'm getting married in March.
Yes, you're getting married, so you need to let me DJ your wedding.
I need a DJ.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
Let's talk off the air.
It's funny because wedding DJs, if somebody calls them as far as a DJ point of view and you're getting married, a lot of DJs jack their prices up because it's a wedding and they know you'll pay it. And that's not me. I don't do it for the money. I've done so many free weddings in my life that you just wouldn't believe.
Really?
And just because I can tell that they have a budget, and and I've done weddings before when like the bride didn't take the pictures the day before, and so that takes up all the time, and so literally when if this wedding starts at 5:30, it's 8 o'clock. It's 6:30, 7 o'clock before the bride even you get announced to the room and the bridal party, and then to make a long story short, I've done weddings before where I played 5 songs, and the time's up because it took so long for everything else.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's the reason I don't do weddings for the money, because I like, you know, if I'm gonna charge somebody $1,500 for a wedding, I'd like to make sure they get $1,500 worth, you know, and it's not just playing 10 songs and I'm out the door. And that's another thing about my DJ service. You know, a lot of DJs, they come in and they set up enough equipment to cover this table so they can get in and out fast. And that's not me. If you're going to pay me $1,500 to do your wedding, I'm bringing in enough equipment to put on a Bon Jovi concert. You know, I'm going to make your wedding. I like making the people say, wow.
Yeah.
I like that wow factor, you know. And that's what I got when I was in Florida. You know, when I was doing shows in Florida, when people come through that gate, they went, wow.
I've seen Disney's wedding venues, so I could only imagine.
Yeah, doing weddings at Disney was crazy, and what's really crazy about doing weddings at Disney is like you don't give them a price; they pay you a percentage of what that wedding cost. So I did one wedding and I got a check in the mail for $8,000. I'm like, I feel like I need to hit somebody in the back of the head, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, and that's the thing. You know, when I moved to Florida, people was like, well, Terry, whatever your prices are, you need to triple them. And so I couldn't. I have trouble. Someone asked me, how much do you charge for a wedding? I have trouble saying $2,500 because that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so I've done so many weddings for $400 and $500 just because I feel like that's all they can afford or all they want to pay. And then when I got to Florida, I realized that there was a lady told me, she said, how much do you charge for weddings? And I was talking to her on the phone, and I felt like that she didn't have the money to pay for this wedding, so I was like giving her a low figure. And so I quoted her price at $700, and she's like, well, can I ask you a question, Mr. Bailey? And I was like, yeah. She's like, why are you so cheap? I'm like, well, I'm trying to do you a favor, you know? And she's like, well, I'm just going to let you know that I'm not going to book you because I feel like that if you just charge $700, then I feel like that you're probably not any good. And so when we hung up the phone, I said, no more. I'm not going to do that no more. And so I stuck to my guns at $2,500, and my phone never quit ringing. And so it's kind of weird, you know? You kind of want to give them a break, but then if you do give them a break, they think you're not any good.
Orlando's a weird city anyway.
Very, yeah.
So, because I lived out there for 6 months, like we talked about. We were actually there at the same time, roughly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. And, it's coming from Appalachia down to Orlando, it's a shock for sure.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for me particularly.
Let me tell you, you know, when I was a kid, I used to watch The Love Boat, and that was kind of like what I wanted a job on a cruise ship. That was my dream. You know, that's been my dream for years. And so when I moved to Florida, I thought, when I went across that state line, I thought, I'm going to get me a job on a cruise ship. So a thing popped up on my Facebook page about Norwegian Cruise looking for DJs. And so they were doing open interviews at SeaWorld in Orlando.
Yeah.
So I went to an interview, and they hired me. And so they interviewed me 3 times in Orlando. And so on the 3rd interview, they said, we want you to go to Miami, and we want you to actually meet the cruise director of this boat because we're going to put you in Hawaii. And you're going to be on a boat called Freedom of America boat. And we want you to meet your cruise director, so when you get to Hawaii, this will be your boss. I was like, okay, cool. So I went to Miami for the 3rd interview to meet this guy, and we talked. And so right when I was getting ready to walk out the door, I said, by the way, can you tell me what does this job pay? And he's like, you don't know? I was like, well, I've never really asked, but I mean, I figured it was Norwegian Cruise. You want me to do shows 5 nights a week? You know, I'm figuring it would be at least, what would you say? What would you think it would pay?
I have no clue.
It would be at least $20 an hour, right? That would be a good figure, right?
Oh, yeah.
He said, this job pays $8.16 an hour. And I started laughing. And I said, what? He said, it pays $8.16 an hour. I said, that's not even minimum wage. How can you get by with that? He said, Mr. Bailey, you got to understand. He said, these boats are not registered in America. These boats are registered in the United Kingdom. 90% of the employees that work on this boat is from South Africa and the Philippines. $9.16 an hour, or $8.16 an hour is pretty good money. And I said, well, you got to remember, I live in Orlando, and I'm paying $2,500 a month rent, and $8.16 an hour is not going to cut it. And so he said, obviously, he said, this is not going to work out for us. And he said, before you leave out of here, he said, I just want to let you know that if you walk out that door and go down this boulevard, you'll find every corporate office for every cruise ship on the ocean on this street. And I promise you that you'll go all the way down and come back around, and you'll come back in my door because we pay the most. And I'm like, wow. And so that crushed my dreams of working on a cruise ship. You know, I actually Googled how much it would cost for a souvenir on that boat in Hawaii, and just for a little old tiny ship, little old tiny thing, was $34.
Oh my gosh.
Now, you do the math. $8.16 an hour, $34 for a souvenir. You're working, what, 4 hours for a souvenir? You know? And he's like, but Mr. Bailey, you got to understand. He's like, you're going to Hawaii, you're living on our boat, and you're eating the best food in the world. And I was like, but you don't understand is I'm 60 years old. I ain't sharing a cabin with 6 other people that I don't know on the bottom of this ship like the Titanic. And as far as eating the best food in the world, I worked at the Greenbrier for years, and it doesn't get any better than that. So I've been there, done that. That's not what I'm after. You know, if I'd been a kid, 18 years old, I probably would have took that job. But at this point in my life, I can't. There was no way I was going to take it.
No.
There was just no way.
Yeah.
So the cruise ship dream ended that fast.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm glad it did because, you know, I mean, you know, Carnival got a hold of me right after that, and and I was telling them what Norwegian did, and they's like, no, that's not it. That's not true at all. They's like, we put our entertainers up in rooms with ocean view rooms and paying $3,500 a month to come on our boat. And I'm like, well, then put me on your boat.
Yeah.
And so we tried to get the ball rolling for that, and they were going to put me in the Bahamas every weekend. And so I came back to the Greenbrier before that got started. The Greenbrier is a really cool place, though.
Yeah.
You know, it's been there since 1774, 2 years before the independence was signed, and it's got a lot of history, lots of history. And we have the underground bunker, which is really cool. The casino is actually inside the bunker, so you know it's we're protected. You know, so it's a really fun place. If you've never been to the Greenbrier, I would definitely suggest, and especially during Christmas, because Christmas at the Greenbrier is just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, they do the lighting of the Christmas tree every Saturday night. We have the best entertainment in the world, and that's hands down. We are known to have the best entertainment in the world.
So where's the Greenbrier at if someone
It's in White
doesn't
Sulphur
know?
Springs, West Virginia.
How far away is that from here?
3.5 hours.
So not too bad.
No, it's not too bad. Well, we have, I think they have like 700 hotel rooms. They got, 2,000 cottages. You know, it's literally, you never have, once you get on the property, you don't have to leave. And it's West Virginia's hidden secret. You know, it's a lot of people say, a lot of people in West Virginia say, hey, you work at the Greenbrier, and they're like, oh yeah, that's that club down there beside of Joey's El Cid. Yeah, down there on the corner. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's where it's at. Obviously you've never been there.
No, I haven't been there, but I've heard about it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, it's pretty cool. Can we show pictures of the Greenbrier?
Sorry, what?
The Greenbrier.
TheGreenbrier.com.
Give me a second, I'll get that for you.
Okay. Do you have any favorite memories from the Greenbrier?
Oh, they're all favorite memories from the Greenbrier. Yeah, it's just, yeah, I do. I was walking down the steps at the Greenbrier, and Jerry West was walking up the steps. Mm-hmm. And when he got past me, I turned around and said, oh my gosh, the basketball legend of all times. And he turned around and smiled. And I said, Mr. West, I said, can I get a picture? And this is a funny story. So I said, can I get a picture? And he's like, yeah. And so I started looking around, and there was nobody to take the picture. And so Jerry West looked at me. He said, I guess you're going to have to take a selfie. And I looked at Jerry, and I said, what is a selfie? And Jerry West said, you don't have kids, do you? And I said, no. He said, here, let me show you what a selfie is. So Jerry West actually taught me how to take a selfie. And so that was, I still got the picture on my mom's wall, and that's a really funny story, you know. But Jerry West taught me how to take a selfie, and he used to come to the Greenbrier all the time, and he'd find me up in the upper lobby, and he would just sit and talk to me about stories like where him and Michael Jordan was on the free throw line, and they had a contest one day, and to see who could make the most free throws, and they were betting $1,000 a shot, and Jerry West beat Michael Jordan 76-75 on free throws.
My goodness.
Yes, and that's just the starting of some of the stories that Mr. West would tell me. And you know, rest in peace. He died. He passed away, you know, a couple years ago, and he was the basketball legend of all times, you know, and so those are kind of the cool stories that you hear from the Greenbrier. You never know. See, the Greenbrier doesn't allow paparazzi, so we don't allow the celebrities and the people that come there, because they don't have to worry about people coming up to them in the room, you know, wanting autographs and taking pictures and stuff like that, because we do not allow that at all.
Yeah.
And so that kind of gives them at ease. You know, a really cool story. Tom Cruise was in our pool one time, and this lady was walking around the pool, and she was trying to videotape him, and when she came around to the DJ booth part of I was doing the show there that day, and I looked at her and I said, all due respect, ma'am, but that's the reason these celebrities come here, to get away from people like you. And she was like, you can't talk to me like that. And I was like, well, I just did. You know, I'm just telling you, that's why they come here. And so after it was all said and done, Tom Cruise got out of the pool, gave me a $500 poker chip, thanked me for what I did, you know. And he's really cool. He's a very nice guy, and he'll talk to you. But if he's got his daughter with him, leave him alone. Yeah. You know, if he's got his kids with him, just leave him alone. You don't want to be bothered. But yeah, so those are kind of the cool stories that I have for the Greenbrier.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did you find out some pictures?
Just be sure, Florida. Right?
No, it's in West Virginia.
White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia.
I can pull those up then, because I also searched that one.
I can do it faster.
A race.
Watch this. I'll do. Family, like I said, during Christmas time, it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, I'd
beautiful.
say.
Yeah. So, how do I get this song on the radio? I want you people to start calling this radio station and say, hey, play My Little Girl by Terry Bailey. That's what I need. I need everybody to pick up their phone right now and call the radio station and say, play this song. Because that's what's going to get it played, you know? I mean, if more people start calling in and requesting the song, the radio's got to play it.
That's true.
And so I need your help. I need your help. Help me out. Call the radio station. Tell them to play the song. Tell them to play my song.
Adrian, you can't get it to play up there?
Not with audio, but I did put it in the comments and go YouTube.
Okay. I was going to say...
You can't get the song to play?
I was going to say we can play it off our phone.
That works.
Yeah.
It's such a good song.
Yeah, it's funny because, okay, so we're going to do that next. We'll do that next. Let's see here.
On the first day of July, a baby was born. She had her daddy's eyes, and her mom was warm and growing up and singing Amazing Grace. The first day she opened her eyes with a smile on her face that lights up the sky. We all knew better things was yet to come. My little girl is like the flu. You get close to her and it grows on you, and soon you'll feel the love, peace of mind. I've never known her to shed a tear, except the morning that she missed that deer. And baby, there'll be other times. I remember when she used to crawl around on the floor, trying to pick the lock at the back door so she could see what the world was all about. Right after that, she started to school. She bounced a basketball until her hands turned blue as her fans was cheering on number 2. She made a 3-point shot in the afternoon, cleaning her stables with a wooden broom, sitting on the porch watching the flowers bloom. My little girl is like the flu. You get close to her and it grows on you, and soon you'll feel the love with peace of mind. I've never known her to shed a tear, except the morning that she missed that deer. And baby, there'll be other times. Now she's walking down the aisle with the man of her dreams. She's gonna say I do, it's as easy as it seems, and heading out on her honeymoon. Her mom and dad is sitting on the steps with tears in their eyes. It's hard to accept that that baby girl has gone away. She's gonna start a family of her own, and there's no doubt they will be strong. And I hope they're there singing this song. My little girl is like the flu. You get close to her and it grows on you, and soon you'll feel the love with peace of mind. I've never known her to shed a tear, except the morning that she missed that deer. And baby, other times. My little girl is like the flu. You get close to her and it grows on you, and soon you'll feel the love with peace of mind. I've never known her to shed a tear, except the morning that she missed that deer. And baby, there'll be other times.
Cool song.
Yeah, I love
Very
the song.
cool song. You know, it's like I said, I had help.
Yeah.
You know, I had help. There's no way that I could have wrote something that pretty without God's help. There's no way, you know. So thank you, Lord, and we need to get this out there and get it on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I said, you know, hey, people, help me out. Just call your radio station and say, hey, play the song. You know, they got to play it. More people call, they have to play it. They got to play it. You know, I don't know if you watched Coal Miner's Daughter.
Yeah.
The movie. You remember when Loretta Lynn, she first got started, how Tommy Lee Jones, when he would take her records and they would just hit the road, and they pretty much pushed that music down the radio DJs' throats.
Yep.
You know, and so that's old school. And so that's, you know, when I walked in here last week and told you guys that I wrote a song, I was not taking no for an answer.
Yeah.
I wasn't, you know, and I could have, and I wouldn't be here right now if I would have.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's got to start somewhere, and it's going to start right here. I want it to start right here. This is not my hometown, but this is where I live, and I have pride in this town. And And it's got to start right here. If you guys will call the radio station and tell them to play this song, they have to play it. They got to play it. And the more people that do that, the better chances I've got to getting this song on every country radio station in the world. And that's my goal.
Yeah.
I want this song to make it to the Billboard Top 40 charts because, for one, there's no artist on this song.
Yeah.
When I wrote this song, I put it into this app on my phone and created a song, and it's not like an AI, but I wanted to do it that way because I wanted to see the different ways of singing the song. Whether it be a fast-paced song, slow-paced, whatever. And so I just kept putting it into this AI and letting this AI sing it, and this AIs were singing it in different ways. Until I figured out the way I wanted the song to be sung, which is that way. And then I took the lyrics to a friend of mine who laid down all the lyrics on a reel, and then I used GarageBand to pick all the instruments, and I used his voice and the lyrics and all that, and I put it all together in GarageBand, and then I pushed create a song, and that's what I got. And so it's not really, a lot of people are saying, an AI wrote that song. Well, an AI didn't write that song. I mean, the AIs are smart when it comes to that, but an AI is only as smart as the technology you give it.
Yeah.
And so in order, an AI doesn't know that my niece was number 2 in basketball. An AI doesn't know that, like right here, this picture right here. I'm going to show you. This picture right here. That's the lady that I wrote the song about. That's the little girl right there. That's my niece, Leslie. And she was number 2 in basketball. And so, I have a lot of ways of showing that I did write that song, and I wrote every word of it, and it's not an AI that wrote it. And a lot of people are saying an AI wrote that song, but no, an AI didn't. And that song came from my heart, and and that's why it's going to make it. It's going to make it. But I need you. I need you. You hear me? I need you. I need you to call the radio station, tell them to play "My Little Girl" by Terry Bailey.
Yeah. It reminds me of a song like you'd hear on the radio and you'd crank up and just like sing to it as you're driving.
Yeah,
That's what it reminds
this
me of.
song. It's a song, and I wrote the song, and it's like I can't get that verse out of my head. Like I keep singing, "My little girl's got the flu," and that's the funny part. How that part came into the song was I was on the phone with Leslie, and I was talking to her, and she was like, "Well, Terry, I'm getting married in a week." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I hope I don't get the flu." I was like, "Because I take care of my mom, and my mom had the flu," and so I told Leslie, I said, "You're getting married in a week, and I got to go up here and take care of mom, and she got the flu. I hope I don't bring you the flu back for your wedding."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, stay away from her as much as you can." I was like, "I will." She's like, "Wash your hands and wear a mask." I said, "I will." And so that's how the flu part came into the song. When I leave the Greenbrier every Saturday night coming back to Ohio, I got a 4-hour drive. And so that's when I thought of the words to this song. And I'd think of the words, and I'd go into my files and just add it to my files on my phone. And then that's how I put it all together. But the flu part of that, "My little girl's like the flu," it was because my mom had the flu, and I didn't want to I didn't want to get it and take it to Leslie's wedding. So that's how the flu part come apart into the song.
Yeah, I love that. All the little personal things in it too.
Yeah. So that's a cool story. Like I said, most of my songs are. That's why I said God. The Lord above was driving this bus on this song, because the songs that I come up with is just crazy funny, Like because I was a comedian for years, I worked with Carrot Top for many, many years doing comedy, and going all over the world doing that was fun, back in the day, and so the songs that I wrote was kind of like in that kind of character, nothing serious, like "My Little Girl" is, and so. Thank you, Lord, once again. So I'm going to play y'all another song. So before I could write, okay, so this is a really cool story. How much time do we have here?
You still have a few minutes.
Okay, all right, so my dad, Oh wow, this is really cool. Y'all are gonna laugh over this. This is a great story. Let me find the song first, so I can play the song with the story. Okay, so my dad had been. Okay, so my dad had been in prison before he met my mom. When he was 18 years old, he stole a bunch of checks off his mother, and she had him prosecuted. She was hardcore. That was my grandmother. And she had him prosecuted, and he actually spent time in Moundsville State Prison over it. And so, but this was way before he met my mom.
Yeah.
So my dad passed away in a car accident in '92, so 10 years after he died, 10 years after he passed away, I heard that they were doing tours at Moundsville State Prison. So I wanted to go up there and just do a ghost tour because I just wanted to go through the prison just to see if I could see his name wrote on a wall, something stupid, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I was 10 years old, my dad bought me a dog. And I asked my dad, I said, Daddy, what we name this dog? And he said, let's name it Sparky. I said, all right, cool. So that was my dog's name. And so when I went up to the prison to do this tour after he passed away, we were in this tour, and the last part of the tour, we went into this room, and it was a glass room with a big glass wall, and they said, there it is, folks, old Sparky. And it was an electric chair. And I started dying of laughing. I thought, oh my God, are you kidding me? And so I started dying of laughing, and the whole group, there was like 15 people in this group, and they were like, Terry, what are you laughing about? And I was like, do y'all want to hear this story? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay. My dad told me to name a dog after an electric chair, you know, seriously. And so I wrote a song called Old Sparky. And this is the kind of songs that I write. So when you hear this song, you're going to know that I had God's help when writing My Little Girl, because this is what I'm good at writing. Now check this out. Now this song actually has potential. It really does. And it's got a great story behind it. But here's the song.
Puppy, and he didn't know much at all. There was a bunch of names went through my head, but I wanted one from him. So he set me up on the couch and he said I got a perfect name for him. So my dad told me to name my dog after the electric chair. See, he did time in Moundsville and old Sparky was there. I remember he would tell me bedtime stories that would give me nightmares about old Sparky, Sparky, the electric chair.
I actually need to write another verse to it. It's kind of finished, but, you know, so this song.
Well, I had that dog for months before my dad sold him. Old Sparky would bark all night just because he wanted it in. Sometimes I would play with him in the creek so he could learn to swim. And I know that dog loved me, and I missed him. And my dad told me to name my dog after the electric chair. See, he did time in Moundsville, and old Sparky was there. He used to tell me bedtime stories that would give me nightmares about old Sparky, Sparky, the electric chair.
So that kind of gives you an idea of what kind of songs I write, you know? So you compare that one with My Little Girl, and it's like day and night.
Yeah.
You know, that song is my personality.
Yeah.
It really is. This My Little Girl is not my personality.
Yeah.
It's the serious, and I'm never been that way in my life. You know, I've always been, like I said, I did comedy with Carrot Top for that's a funny story. I was working in a club one night, and the owner of the club came up to me and he said, Terry, you ever want to be a comedian? I said, nope. And he's like, okay, you got your chance tonight. I said, what part of nope did you understand? And at that time, I was mic frightening. I was scared to death of a microphone, you know.
Yeah.
And so come to find out, we had Carrot Top came in to do a show, and you know how there's always a comedian that comes up in front of him
Yeah,
that opens
okay.
up. So the owner of the club tells me, he says, look, Terry, the guy that's opening up for Carrot Top, he's sick, he's got food poisoning at the Holiday Inn, he can't do the show, you got to do it. You got to do it, Terry, you got to
Yeah.
do it, because Carrot Top's not going to do this unless you do. He's not going to come out by himself. I said, okay, I'll do it. So I just got out there on stage and I started talking about things that happened in my life, and before I know it, I got people laughing. And so after 15 minutes goes by, Billy Joe's in the back of the room going, hey, you're done. You know, hey, cut it. You're finished. Go ahead. Announce Carrot Top. I was like, no, I ain't done. You know, and so when I finally did announce Carrot Top to the stage and he come up and did his show, when it was all said and done and over with, Carrot Top came up to the DJ booth and he said, Terry, you ever want to be a comedian? I said, you make the second person that asked me that tonight. I'm going to tell you no. He's like, listen, Terry. He's like, I can't keep on doing this. He's like, this guy has done me like this 5 or 6 times now. He's like, I got to find somebody else. And he said, you're the man. He said, do this for me. Let's do this. He said, we will go all over the place. It will be so much fun. And so I said, you know what? I ain't married. I don't have any kids. I'm young. Why not? Let's do it. Yeah. And so I quit this club and I went to on tour with Carrot Top, and we did comedy all over the world. We went all over the place. And you know, it's funny because we would get our information from billboards. Yeah. We had a lot of road time, you know, and we would look at billboards and we'd change billboards up. I was like, man, I can make something funny out of that, you know, and before you know it, we were making something funny out of it. And that's how we got our information, you know. That's how we got our stories to do our next shows, you know, to keep it fresh. And it was that was an experience. That was fun. He taught me how to work a stage. He taught me how to work a stage, and that was the biggest thing. You know, when you're somebody that comes out on stage, you know, that's the biggest thing. When you come out there, you're scared to death, you know. Yeah. And I'm sure you have that here, sitting in the chair that I'm in right now. You know, a lot of people sit in here and they're like, you know what I mean, like Beavis and Butthead. You know what I mean? But hey, I was taught by the best, and so thank you for that. You know. So, So once you get over that stage fright part, then you can knock it out. Yeah. But you just got to, and you know, and everybody's telling me, you look at one person in the audience and don't look at everybody else. You know, that don't work. You know, you just, it experience is what does it. You know, you keep doing it over and over and over, and then that fear will leave you. Yeah. And that's the way it happened with me.
Well, Terry, thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you for having me, and thanking you for putting me on your show. And like I said, you know, I don't take no for an answer. I wore my yes shirt today for a reason. Call the radio station. Tell them to put My Little Girl by Terry Bailey. You want to hear it on the radio. Call them. If you call them, they got to play it. They can't tell you no. They got to play it. So help me out here, you know. I want to get my song on every country radio station in America. And I want to see this song make it to the #1 Billboard chart. And when it does, I want to come back. Yeah. I want to sit right here in this chair, and I want to talk about my #1 country song in the world. And I want to thank you for making it happen. So
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we'll be right back with this break, after this break with Pete Wilson, and we'll have to get you back on the show and talk about your other song that you have.
Perfect. Love
and we
to.
Can't wait to hear about it.
Love to.
But we'll be right back after the break.
From breaking news to heartwarming stories, the Telegram is your ticket to the latest buzz in town.
Read your daily dose of local headlines, sports, and entertainment and more, in hand and on paper.
Get a print and digital subscription for only $7.95 per month. Delivered fresh every Wednesday and Saturday.
Visit thetelegramnews.com or call 740-286-3023 today.
Don't just read the news, be a part of it.
Did you know Jackson is home to a locally owned and operated full-service print shop? Zip Printing covers all your print, signage, and design needs. From business cards, booklets, and posters to yard signs, banners, screen-printed t-shirts, oversized signage, and more. We can help you or your business advertise and look good doing it. Zip Printing also offers logo design. Allow us to assist you in building or elevating your brand today. Zip Printing is located in the Stockmeister Plaza at 708 East Main Street in Jackson, Ohio. So stop in or give us a call at 740-286-3023.
Well, welcome back. How are you today, Pete?
I'm very good. I'm just coming off a weekend of Christmas spirit that
Oh, yeah.
overfloweth. As anyone who has lived here in Jackson and Vinton counties or paid attention to know what was set up for last weekend knows that there was lots of pre-Christmas activities just about everywhere in our local area. Jackson, Wellston, MacArthur, Colton, Oak Hill, all those places.
Oh, yeah.
And the Telegram and Total Media was all those places covering it. The newspaper covered all those events. The radio was doing live remotes from a couple of those places. And of course, we're going to talk about that and show some of those pictures here on Main Street TV, not only today, but later in the week, because there was just so many good things to talk about. But we'll first start with Oak Hill. Oak Hill has something called Christmas in the Village. And their activities, and all this was late Saturday afternoon and early Saturday evening. I'm just going to show you a sampling, a couple photos from Oak Hill. Here is Central Memorial Park, and all of our local communities in Jackson County have a tree display. Oak Hills is in Central Memorial Park. You see the gazebo there. Not in the picture, but off to the left is the famous acorn, by the way. But 28 decorated Christmas trees in Oak Hill, 9 Christmas wreaths that is on the wrought iron fence there in Oak Hill. Very, very decorative. Saturday evening was the big evening where they lit the trees for the first time. And this is actually a picture taken when the light was better before the trees were lit, but they were already decorated. Now, the other picture we have from Oak Hill shows Grant Lambert. He had the honor of putting the plug in, pulling the switch, whatever it was, to turn on the lights. He, of course, got his Christmas sweater on. He is a senior at Oak Hill High School. And I'm not sure if there'd be a big Christmas in the Village or Christmas in the Park tree display if it weren't for Grant. Back when he was in Oak Hill Elementary School, however old he was, maybe just 8 years old, he thought that there ought to be a community tree. And so, by golly, because of his efforts, they had a single Christmas tree, community Christmas tree, at the Village Building, this what they call the Imogene Brunton Davis Memorial Building there on Front Street. Well, that grew in the next year or two into the big tree display we have now in Central Memorial Park. And so all the village leaders and the people that organized the Christmas activities in there, they let Grant pull the switch on that day. And this happened, the tree display lighting happened just after their Christmas parade, which we'll have some pictures from that in the paper. Also, a visit from Santa Claus, of course, in the gazebo. Very active Santa Claus. He was doing some dancing before he met with the kids. That was something to see. And one of the things that they had in Oak Hill that we'll show in the paper is, this was a first-time thing, the Ohio Heritage Girls, which is a national group now, a local area group out of the Gallia Baptist Church. About 40 girls are in this. It is Christian-based. They did a huge live nativity scene at Central Memorial Park. Very impressive. One of the largest ones that I've seen. And so, as I said, we'll be covering that and showing pictures of that. Now, at the same time, roughly, up in MacArthur, they had what they called the Christmas in Downtown event. And Red Thompson Jr. was there, and he took a number of pictures. We're going to show you about 3 of them. Now, this is a young lady, which we know very well on Main Street TV. That is Amanda Mason. Used to be Amanda Boring Mason, because she just got married here not too long ago. And you can see, look at that outfit she has on. Happy holidays, Christmas trees, red boots. She was dressed appropriately for Christmas. Her office is right downtown, and she was one of the many businesses and offices that greeted visitors in downtown MacArthur for the Christmas in Downtown celebration. Of course, she had her office decorated as well. Also in MacArthur, these 4 girls, the young lady is a little miss. These are the three big girls who are the royalty for Miss Vinton County. That's the 4th of July celebration in Vinton County. Allie Murphy is the queen. Emma Leeming is the first attendant. And the second attendant is, I'm sorry, the queen is Claire Graves. I got that wrong. The first attendant is Emma Leeming, and the second attendant is Allie Murphy. And the little queen, I don't have her name that I can tell you, but she was also there. She's, of course, there on the right. They were there selling raffle chances on lottery tickets. They're fundraising already for the next 4th of July celebration in Vinton County, but they are the royalty for Miss Vinton County. Okay, and Santa Claus was, of course, there in Vinton County. Now, somehow he did this, Liv. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
Santa was in Jackson, Wellston, MacArthur, and Oak Hill all in the same day. And,
Well,
and
he
not
goes-
at the same time. I mean,
Yeah.
this was legit.
He goes around the world in the same day. So.
Well, that's exactly right. So don't question how this can be done. But this is Santa Claus. Of course, he met with the younger children, but this is the field commander for the Vinton County Marching Band, which, of course, performed in the parade and on the street there during the Christmas and downtown celebration. And that is Jana Murphy with Santa Claus there. And we will be having lots of coverage in Wednesday paper, multiple pictures of the Christmas and downtown celebration. A lot of the businesses and offices were open, doing deals, having treats, free treats for the customers and the visitors that came by. Of course, there was a parade. Santa Claus was at the courthouse at the end. And also another nice thing they had kind of off to the side, but they scheduled this on the day of Christmas in downtown to go along with all the festivities. They had the Columbus Rings Bell Choir, handbell choir there at the library.
Yeah.
They are very famous in this part of the state. They work out of Columbus, and they always do a concert down there at the MacArthur Library. The Herbert Westcoat Memorial Library is what it's called. And one of the reasons I think they do is there is a local connection. There's a young man named Jared Ozier. He is a Vinton County High School graduate, used to live in Vinton County, grew up in Vinton County, very musically talented. I remember that from about 20 years ago when he was in high school. He is the director of that handbell choir.
Wow.
So, of course, he was there as well. So, bottom line, we'll have a lot of coverage coming in the next 2 editions of the Telegram, this Wednesday's paper and this Saturday's paper, a lot of pictorial coverage. But in Jackson, the Gear Grinders, which organized the parade, they had some extra activities and honors that actually increased the size of the Christmas celebration in Jackson. We'll have some expanded coverage on that and tell you who was in the spotlight there. But the Gear Grinders did a great job. Did a great job coming up with some extra activities to make this pre-Christmas celebration called Holiday Light Up in Jackson even more special. We want to get this out. This is very important. The Wellston American Legion Post 371 in Wellston, and its 40 at 8 group, actually. It's actually the 40 at 8 division of the American Legion Post in Wellston. They do a Christmas food box program every year. It's one of the biggest ones in Jackson County, maybe the biggest. But they do 300 Christmas food boxes.
Yeah.
And it's just not in Wellston. It's in Jackson County and even in a couple of the surrounding counties. They have zip codes that they serve. Completely free Christmas food boxes that they distribute on the Saturday before Christmas. Well, they began taking orders. All you have to do is call up. You don't have to go through a bunch of rigmarole or regulation or IDs and all that to get on the Christmas food box list. But obviously, it's ideal for people in need. They started taking orders on December the 6th.
Yeah.
And guess what? They started taking orders on December the 2nd, which was last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then by last Saturday, they've taken all 300 orders that they can take.
Wow.
So they were going to take orders through this Sunday if they got that far. But it was either 300. It was either till December 13th or until they ran out of orders 300, and they reached that point last Saturday. So that just points out the need. It points out all that the American Legion does, and they are all very thankful for they have many community sponsors and donors that make that happen.
Yes.
And they will be distributing those food boxes on Saturday, December the 20th at the Legion, which is on South Pennsylvania Avenue in Wellston. And I know that they have the kids from Wellston High School, some different sports and cheerleaders groups, the National Honor Society. I'm not sure what groups are going to be involved this year, but they actually come to the Legion on the Wednesday before the distribution day, and they help pack those food boxes. So the kids get involved in this project as well. Okay, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to see. I think I have one other thing that's pretty time sensitive here that I want to talk about. This is actually a news thing that it kind of broke late last week. Well, no, I tell you what, I'm going to save that for tomorrow because there's one thing that I wanted to say. If you have the picture there of Erica Euler, Adrian, that is Erica Euler. The reason I'm showing you her picture, it's very sad. She passed away at the age of 46 last week. And the reason that I'm putting her picture up there is that she is a member or was a member of the Total Media family. Erica, basically on the radio side, she was what they call a board op, on the board for radio, for special broadcasts, whether it's a remote radio broadcast, a sports broadcast, whatever. In addition to that, she also was a weekend news anchor. She read the news and did whatever needed to be done. It was a part-time job, but she was a great worker. Everybody at the radio and Total Media loved Erica. She hasn't, due to health problems, she hasn't been able to do anything for the radio for the past 2 or maybe even 3 years. But when she did, she was a champ. And you can see, just looking at that face, what a genuine, sweet, loving person that she was. We all loved Erica Euler. We prayed for her family. Certainly, we lost her way too young at the age of 46. So God bless Erica Euler. We will certainly miss you. We'll get back to more Christmas pictures and news and lots of other things that I didn't get to tomorrow and on through this week. Liv.
Well, I will be here tomorrow, and then Jen will be back on Wednesday.
Okay.
But thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow with Kim Harless from the Farm Bureau, and we're going to talk about an event they have coming up. So we'll see you guys later.